Oh, I am Kodili-nye, the son of the wonderful. We wake up today with news from many sources, especially the Daily Trust, talking about the 21 states of the Federation that are seeking loans accounting to 1.65 trillion to fund their 2024 budget deficit. Despite the increase in the allocation they have received from Federation Accounts Allocation Committee (FEC) in the last 1 year. So some of those states were listed, and they said Adamawa, Anambra, they said 245 billion. Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Ebonyi, Edo, Ekiti, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kebbi, Katsina, Kogi, Kwara, Osun, Oyo, Nasarawa, Gombe, Enugu, and Imo State. But the one that caught everybody's eyes was Anambra State to borrow 245 billion. Is this true or fake news? We want to hear from the governor of that state, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, and hear from him what exactly happened, if it's true or not. So we are going to hear from the horse's mouth, because there are a lot of news flying out, because the government promised and said they have not borrowed anything. So we cannot categorically say if the news is true or not until we hear from him. I am still Kodili-nye. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned as we go to hear from the governor of Anambra State, Nigeria.
Because you don't see the need of that borrowing. But recently, it was the media that you want to join some other governors to borrow a whooping over 245 billion naira, right? And we wonder, a governor that was given the opportunity to work and without even for the people that approved that borrow, people too.
Yeah.
And now we are
okay. Thank you very much. I think the report, all I can say roundly, is that the report in Daily Trust about Anambra planning to borrow 245 billion naira to fund its 2024 budget is fake news. It's fake news. I don't know where they got that. Try to find out from the rest of my government and where this is coming from and who said that, and if there is any such plan that I am not aware of, then it is certainly fake news. I don't know what that is. And let's be clear. And I want to make 2 points about borrowing. I have a view about borrowing, about government borrowing. Every enterprise, private, government, and whatever that wants to scale up activities shortly, you look at the cost of funds, look at the opportunity cost of those funds, and the time value of money, it might make sense to borrow today, provide goods and services, and that tomorrow the economy will generate resources to pay back. So borrowing in itself is not a bad idea. Every major company that has ever developed and then grown big lives on some form of debt or the other. So it's not debt. Borrowing it's not a dirty word. And find there's literally no government in the world that doesn't borrow. So let's put it clear. this administration, under my watch, we have a particular view about borrowing, and we have very narrow, stringent criteria for borrowing. We're not just going to borrow just to finance this or finance that. In 2022, the House of Assembly, when we had our supplementary budget, actually approved for us to borrow 100 billion in 2022. Till this moment, we haven't borrowed a kobo out of that. Last year, 2023, we had implicit in our budget about 90-something billion deficit, but we didn't borrow a kobo of that. This year, we also have a budget deficit of about 121 billion. Until this moment, we have not borrowed one kobo of that. And the reason is simple. We have been working on projects and programs that will be bankable. We are insisting that we borrow for bankable projects, for projects that will have the probability and possibility of generating the returns to pay back the debt. That is, we're not borrowing for consumption. We're not borrowing for anything else and so on and so on. I mean, we borrow to create, to add to value. And so far that we're working on some major infrastructural facilities that will generate some resource payback. The moment we are ready for those, that's when we will gladly and proudly approach the market, to be able to scale up our transformational trajectory. But so far, not one. This is, I'm almost in the third year now. I've spent 2 years in my third year, and we still have not borrowed a dime. If you also realize, recently, there was a publication of states receiving 438 billion from the World Bank, the World Bank loan. Anambra's name is not on that list. We deliberately opted out of that loan. And someday I will explain why we took a decision to opt out of that loan. But this is not for this moment. But all I'm trying to say is that we take the issue of borrowing very, very seriously. And we're not going to borrow unless I can show you where that money will go and what value is going to add, not just today, but tomorrow, and increase the capacity of the state to be able to pay the loan back. And so what my attention was just drawn to this as I was walking away after the broadcast of on our 33rd anniversary. And I thought it was important to clarify this because it sounded to me like a joke. And like I said, that report by Daily Trust that Anambra is planning to borrow 245 billion to finance 2024 budget is nothing short of blatant fake news. And everybody must regard it as such. Even in our budget, the deficit we'll have is 121. So how could you be planning to borrow 245 when you have a budget deficit of 121? I mean, that makes it ridiculous in the first instance. So I don't know where they got their stuff from. Or whatever they got it from, whatever source that gave it to them, is pure fake news. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back. You have heard from Professor Charles Gov.Soludo, the Executive Governor of Anambra State, on this on the purported borrowing by Anambra State government to the tune of 245 billion naira. And this was spreading everywhere, and people are beginning to worry what's going on, that the governor said that he's here to borrow, and the details were not actually far-fetching, or were not said. How come this huge borrowing without governor saying where he want to put the money to? And finally, he came out boldly by answering the question thrown at him by the journalist. And he was able to completely dismiss that as fake news. And Nigerian journalists can be very funny at times. It's like some of the Ibadan-based journalists there were all the time reporting about Anambra, Southeast, Onitsha, blah blah blah. So sometimes if you are not careful, you'll be taking what they are reporting as true. Because one thing is that they might sit in Oshobo or somewhere in the southwest, and they have never even traveled to those areas. They have not even have anybody on the ground, and they don't even know the place, and they just write something and bring out. No fact checking, nothing, because Nigeria is garbage in, garbage out. So, and for us in this channel, I don't think financial management is a problem of Soludo. Soludo is, if you compare him to the last administration of Sawili Obiano, is a very good, prudent manager of funds. You can see it by his projects that he's doing. He's actually doing a lot of projects, even if you don't agree. But the only issue with him is that, Soludo has a vision which is yet to fulfill. And that vision is bigger than what he's actually delivering at the moment. So people are still waiting for that vision for him to accomplish. But on a nominal politician or average politician, people will say he's doing great. He's doing above average. So that's what we are discussing here. We believed what he said, because we know that it's not true. And on the issue of loan, for those that doesn't know, loan is very, very important, because let me give you an example. You want to start a building project, and it happens that you need something like 100 rods, and you need 100 bars of cement, and you need all sorts of numbers to accomplish that project within 1 year or 6 months. And you said, oh, I don't have the money, so let me leave it. If you don't borrow money to supplement the shortfall, the prices of cement and rod by the next year or the 2 years you are going to start again would have doubled or tripled according to inflation in Nigeria. And by that time, you are now about to spend more, and it will be more difficult for you to accomplish. But if you would have borrowed and do it as fast as possible, you would have overcome that challenge. That's what we are talking about. I do think you understand what we are saying. But thank you very much for joining us once again. If you have any comment on this, go to the comment section, like and share this. If you are not subscribed, subscribe to our channel. Have a wonderful time wherever you are. See you in the next one. God bless you. Bye.